Let's knit a thing. Oh, hi. Once you grow sheep, you never grow cheap. Oh, hi. I'm Shannon, and this is Soxcetera with me, episode 18. 18. Did you hear me? 18. You can find me on Instagram as Shannon Mariah, and you can find me on Ravelry and Periscope as Shannon Fisher. We also have a Ravelry group under the name soxcetera. Surprise! There's all kinds of fun stuff going on there. Like right now, there is a blanket blitz cal. And there's so much going on. There's over almost 600 posts in the Instagram group, in the Instagram hashtag under blanket blitz cal. And there's almost the same amount on the Ravelry group. So the Blanket Blitz Cal is all about pulling out your minis or your scrappy yarn and doing something with it, whether that's a blanket, whether that's Franken socks, or a Franken hat, or a mini hat, or mini socks, or mini whatevers. Some kind of crochet project, whatever you want to do with your scrappy bits. Do a little bit, do a lot. Post your progress in the Instagram group or with the hashtag BlanketBlitzCal or in the Ravelry group. I will be drawing prizes at the end of the month from both Instagram and Ravelry. Fun, right? So join us. Thanks to everyone who has been giving shout outs to the Blanket Blitz Cal on their podcast, participating in Instagram and on Ravelry. It has totally taken off and lots of people are participating, and that's all thanks to you guys because little old me could not spread the word without your help. So it's so fun to have all of you participating and getting excited about it and knitting on your blankets and whatever else you're working on. You have very much inspired me to do the same. I have not made much progress, but I hope in this upcoming week to have a bit of a love-in with my own blankets. So thanks, everyone. So let's move right in to Shouty Shan. Shouty Shan is a section where I talk about how I'm learning to be a better human and the different things people are writing about or making videos about or spreading the word about that I'm finding and sharing with you, and the ways it's helping me be a more enlightened, more compassionate person. So last week I talked a little bit about the different microaggressions that we sort of thoughtlessly throw around. One of them was the term spirit animal. And after that episode aired, a couple of you reached out to me and sheepishly admitted that you had very recently yourselves used the term spirit animal and were feeling a little bit bad or embarrassed about it, which is totally normal and also really great because it means that we're learning together. Because there was a time when I didn't know any of the stuff I'm talking to you about. And there was a time when I ignorantly used a lot of different things, a lot of different sayings, and realized that they were not cool. And I still find tons of microaggressions hidden deep within me that I'm always excited to discover because that means that it gives me the chance to do better. It also comes with some embarrassment for sure and some, feelings of guilt, but I also know guilt is not really a productive emotion, so I try to feel it, put it aside, and then let it motivate me to do better, to be thankful for discovering a new thing, learning it, and having the opportunity to move forward in a more enlightened way. Which a couple of you did say to me. You were like, I said that thing too, or I used to say that. And so thanks so much for helping me learn that that's not cool, which is amazing, which is an amazing reaction. I want to be surrounded by people who don't walk around believing that they are perfect, they are not racist, they are not sexist, they are none of those things, so they don't have to pay attention to any of it. Where the truth is that we're all racist and sexist because we were raised in racist and sexist soil. There's just no escaping it. And so if you are actively seeking out ways to learn how to do better, and then you are going to learn those ways and you're going to become a better human. Whereas if you're in denial, you're going to be shut off from those things and you're just going to believe that you've got this down. And that doesn't leave a lot of room for learning. So I love that being surrounded by people who want to know more and who are actively seeking out that knowledge. So I'm going to share two things with you today. This first one is from an article on everyday feminism, and a little quote from that article says, which I will link to in my show notes, which will be found in the Ravelry group. You don't have to hold back from racial justice work out of fear of making mistakes. If you're willing to engage with this work and learn from your mistakes, then you're already well on your way to being an effective ally. You're not the only one who doesn't have everything figured out yet. In fact, you're in the company of literally every other ally. Take it from me, if you talk to someone who claims to be the perfect ally, you're talking to someone who's full of shit. It is uncomfortable and scary to engage in social justice issues because there is the chance that you're going to mess up, and messing up is uncomfortable and doesn't feel good, but I think we just have to accept that we just are going to mess up because we're human and we're flawed humans. But we're flawed humans who are willing to learn and grow, and I think that's the greatest and most important thing. In episode 15 of Another Round, which is the same episode that I talked about on last week's podcast, it's the episode with Jay Smooth. They start off the show by addressing listener questions about being a good ally. So it's the very beginning of episode 15 of Another Round, and it's so worth listening to. So I listened to it again just before filming today, and I just wrote down everything Tracy and Heaven were saying. So this is kind of a quote, but it's like a mashup of both of what they were talking about. So I'm just going to read that to you. And even though I'm reading it to you, I would still encourage you to go listen to it because it's so powerful to hear them talk about it. I'm very wary of people who introduce themselves as allies. It's an action, not an identity. You should be more worried about the things that you're doing than about having ally as part of your identity. There should be more anxiety for white folks over the term ally. You should feel anxious and uncomfortable. The world is deeply discomforting. Once you're woke, you'll be uncomfortable forever. It's a bell you can't unring. If you feel uncomfortable, that's healthy. You should not feel comfortable doing this work. So how can a white person be a good ally? Sit with your discomfort. Go to google.com and find some books and articles and read. Google is your friend. People don't see this talk about race as work. I read a lot of, they just assume that you have the knowledge. I read a lot of books to get to this point. You should also do that. It's also important to me that folks who are looking to be an ally are prepared prepared to play a side role. This is not your movie. You're not the lead character. A lot of privileged people see it as a good deed to vocalize on another group's problems and thoughts and fears and ideas. But it's not your voice anyone should be hearing. You, as a white person, have more access to everything. Don't seek to be the voice of the voiceless. Seek to give a microphone to the voiceless. Help me amplify my voice, and ask yourself, why are the voiceless silent? Who is silencing them? It's also important for white folks and any privileged person to make it your main goal to wake up other members of your privilege group. Collect your people. When we're talking about street harassment, for example, we as women can't end that. There's only so much women and the LGBTQ community can do. Instead of barking at me and wanting me to be nicer when you talk to me on the street, go talk to the men who are making it really, really hard for you to speak to women on the street. Work on changing the minds of people like you. In summary, go to Google, read some books, and do the work of being an ally. And also, don't do the work of an ally to be called an ally. Do it because you're a good person. Do it because you genuinely want to help people who need it. Also, I want the term ally to go away. Just be a good person. And keep listening to brown people and black people. Listen more than you speak. So that was a conversation between Tracy and Heaven right at the beginning of episode 15 of their show, and it was just, I listened to it 3 times when I was in the car because it was just so powerful. So I hope that really spoke to you too. To me, the message there is, don't wait for this enlightenment stuff to just come to you and happen. Seek it out. Do some reading. Do some research. Listen to brown people. Listen to black people. I also had a couple people ask if I could separate out this Shouty Shan section and make it its own thing. And well, that's really kind, and I'm super flattered by that. Writing this confirmed for me my discomfort with the idea of that, and that's that it's not my voice people should be hearing. I'd rather highlight the voices of the people already doing and writing about this amazing work and these issues. There's so much really fantastic stuff on the internet to read and watch. It's there for the taking, so I will definitely help point you in the right direction, but you gotta do the rest. So that's Shouty Shan. Episode 18, Shouty Shan. Hello? Bueller? Anyone? Are you there? So let's move right into knitting. Finished objects. Guys, I have no knitting finished objects. But I have a million kajillion, a million thousand. When I was little, my dad said that I used to say, there were thousands and thousands of them, almost 100. I was such a smart little whippersnapper. This week yesterday I launched the soxcetera Etsy shop. Yay! And you guys helped me make it so successful. I put up 20 bags and 18 of them sold, and I'm so thrilled by that. So thank you everybody who spread the word, who bought a bag, who favorited a bag, who liked my posts on Instagram, who cheered for me, who sent me love, who just showed up. Thank you everybody. All of these beauties sold. Look at them. Look at all of these pretties. They're all going to be sent out to their brand new, beautiful homes. And I hope you love them. Because I put 20 up yesterday and 18 sold. And then I put a couple up more, 2 more up this morning. So there's this one, which I called, what did I call? Exo knit or something. So it's got X's on the outside and O's on the inside. kisses and hugs, kisses and hugs, kisses and hugs. So yeah, this one has, they all are lined. So cute. A little black drawstring. Red is one of my fave colors. And this one, guys, I can't believe this one didn't go. I think this is the most adorablest ever. It's got these like pinky, salmony, orangey, sleepy kitties, polka dot kitties, with this fun blue on the inside. And it's a fun little drawstring, and it's got the box bottom. This one has like a cushy interfacing, so it's soft. It almost feels quilted. So this one's still available. Emma said she will steal this one if one of you don't buy it. Cute little frisky kitties. And then, whenever I say and then, I think of, was it a Saturday Night Live skit? No, it's from some movie. Some stoner movie where they go through the drive-thru and someone is like, and then I'll have fries, and a burger, and a big drink, and then, I don't even know what movie it is. Someone tell me what movie that is. So there's this one, which has got like this, I don't know what it is, like wavy brown pattern, and then fun greens on the inside. Cute little drawstring. It's got satiny ribbon drawstring handles. So it's that one. And then the last one I think is also very cute. Again, boxed bottom, fun drawstring, good sock size. They're all sock size, sockish size. So yeah, those 4 are left. If you wanted to go check out the shop, I'll probably be puttering away at sewing some new ones. I still have quite a bit of fabric left over, and then I'm going to be getting some more fabric with some new patterns that I didn't have in my last batch of fabric, so I'll be making some new bags. And mostly I've just been doing one-offs so far. None of them are really repeats of each other. Maybe in the future I'll do like a batch of ones that I think lots of people will like, but so far I've just been mixing and matching lots of different ones. Thanks again everybody who helped me launch that and who got me so excited, and it was just really fun to practically sell out my first shop update yesterday. So look forward to more fun in the future. So works in progress. As you can tell, I did not get much knitting time in because I was so sewing focused. I practically was at the sewing machine from the moment I woke up until the moment I went to bed. You can ask Steve and Emma. I was constantly there. Our dining room table has been taken over by all of my sewing goodness. But I did get a little tiny bit of work in. Steve and I did some errands, and so while we were in the car, I did knit a little bit on my sockhead hat. So I'm getting close-ish to being able to decrease. See, it's been so long I don't even remember how to speak knit. Decrease, that's what I'm looking for. This yellow section kind of went on forever. I was ready for it to be over about halfway through, but I actually like how it turned out. I like that I have this big yellow section at the end. I'm a little bit sad because it means that I probably won't or will just barely get to this purple section, and I definitely won't get to this purple and white section. But that's okay, it'll go into my blanket because it's a fingering weight. It said it was a DK weight. Lies. Lies. Hopefully next time I see you, this will be done. And then my blanket. I'm still on the same square that I was last week. except just a couple more rows in. That's it. That's all. That's where we are. So I'm at 28, well, almost 28 squares. And I would like to be to at least 41 squares by June 28th. Why June 28th, you asked? Because I'm gonna be 41 on June 28th. So I'd like to have 41 squares in my blanket. I think I can manage that. I can do that. Last year I turned 40 and I did nothing for my 40th birthday because we were kind of still newish here. I didn't really have a close-knit group of people, and Steve asked what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to throw a party and be disappointed. So we kind of ended up just having a really low-key day, and I didn't realize how much I wanted to do something big, so I kind of regretted that. But I mean, you can't go back and do it over. So you know what? Having a 41 square size blanket, I mean, what's bigger than that, you guys? I mean, there is. Like, that's pretty rock and roll if you ask me. So that'll be my big do-over celebration this year. I'm so badass. What are you gonna do for your birthday, Shannon? I'm gonna get 41 squares in my blanket if it kills me. Ooh, sounds fun. It does, actually. It sounds really fun to me. My friend Steve from my knit night showed me how to knit continental style, and then he gave me some homework, and I did my homework, and so he showed me how to purl continental style. So I've been working on that a little bit, and that's been fun. So I look forward to doing some more of that and maybe being a continental knitter one day, officially. I'll have like a badge and everything. I, Shannon Fisher, am a continental knitter. My foot's cramping. Ah! Come on, baby toe. You can do it. We're gonna be okay. This takes us to questions. This week I have a question from Michelle from Indiana. I almost said India. Michelle from Indiana. Hi, Michelle. She's Vin Girl on Rav, and she asks, as someone who met their hubs in high school, I'm increasingly curious about where other people met their significant others. To imagine dating as an adult is horrifying to me, so I'd love to know your love story. Well, that's a fun question. Steve and I met through mutual friends out at a camp in Alberta called Gull Lake, and it's like a 20-minute drive from Lacombe, which is where we ended up living for 11 years of our lives, about 6 years after we got married. No, that's not true. About 2 years after we got married. Anyway, I had friends working out there for the summer, and Steve was working out there for the summer. And so the summer of 1998, and so I went out there to visit it was my roommate and my best friend, who they were sisters. I went out to visit them, and Steve was lifeguarding out there, and we met on the beach. The beach, there was a really weird Christian, creepy game happening on the beach with the campers, and so I was participating in this weird, creepy Christian game, and so was Steve, and we just like crossed paths on the beach, and we ended up chatting, and then we started dating shortly after that. So that was really fun. There's way more to the story than that, because he like drove to Calgary and surprised me while I was at work and serenaded me in the parking lot, and that was on our like second date, and I wasn't totally sure if he liked me or not, and I had been like talking to my coworker all day about him and going on and on about Steve this and Steve that and blah 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 blah, and then he like walked in the door just as we were closing, and so then he's like, okay, I'll be out in the parking lot waiting for you while you close up. And so I was trying to like count the till money out. We worked at a copy shop. We did photocopies, and you could come in and rent the computer for 10 minutes or an hour or whatever. And so I was cashing out, counting the money, and Mark just saw how poorly I was doing. He was like, ugh, just go. Just, I'll close up. Just go. So I left and went outside, and Steve was in the parking lot, and a whole busload of kids were there sitting around him. Steve was sitting in the back of with his hatch open of his car, playing the guitar, and this busload of kids who were in town for the Calgary Stampede were just sitting at his feet and listening to him play guitar and singing. Steve was in a band at the time. And as soon as I came out, they all looked at me and went, oh, and like filed onto the bus. And I was like, what just happened? And he's like, well, they knew I wanted to play this song for you. And so he got out his guitar and he started singing to me, and it was the song Secret Heart by Ron Sexsmith. So yeah, he serenaded me right there in the parking lot, and nobody had ever in my whole entire life ever done anything like that for me. So I was floored and completely smitten, and he did it all over again in the same parking lot 3 months later when he proposed. So that is our story, and it's a pretty fun one. I like telling it because it's got some good bits to it. He did a good job. He's a pretty romantic guy. He's very good at those kinds of surprises. Once he flew us to LA, I got off work. I was teaching at the time. I got off work and went to pick him up. And he's like, we're leaving for the airport right now. And I was like, pardon me? And he had packed for me, but he had barely packed anything because when we got to LA, he's like, here's a bunch of money, buy yourself a new wardrobe for the weekend. And I was like, oh, what? So that was a really fun and uncomfortable surprise because it turns out shopping under pressure is actually really difficult, but still a fun memory nonetheless. So he's done some really, really fun things for me like that over the years. He's excellent at surprises and planning, and I am horrible at it, so we're not a good match that way. For his 40th birthday from me, he got a keychain for our camper that said Happy Camper on it. I'm the best. So that's my Shan and Steve story. I hope you enjoyed it. If you care to, you can share how you met your significant other or any other fun dating stories that you want to share in this week's show notes thread. I'd love to hear your stories. It'd be fun to read. And I have one more question this week, and I have invited a guest, Emma Fisher, to join me. And this question comes from my friend Aoife. Hi, Aoife. She says, I have a question, maybe one for you and Emma combined. I know you two draw and paint, and I have been wanting to try to get better at drawing lately. I do best when I can read a book or a blog post and learn from that, rather than a video or class. Do you have any suggestions for where I can start? How did you learn or improve those skills? I figure just drawing a thing every day will be part of it, but beyond that, I never have any idea how to develop and get better at drawing. So for those of you who don't know, Emma is a budding and inspiring artist. She does a lot of drawing. She does some animation, and she's getting really fantastic at what she does. And so I thought it would be, and Eve had the idea to bring her in to talk a little bit about the ways that she's improved her skills. So how do you learn new skills?
Well, when I sort of decided I wanted to be an animator, how I developed my style was I decided what I wanted to draw, and I found a picture of that, and I copied it. I copied it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also I found artists that I really liked, and I took little bits and pieces that I liked from their style, and incorporated them into my style.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just kept drawing. So.
You also have a friend named Sara who I feel like you and Sara have taught each other some stuff. How does that happen?
We show each other our drawings, and when one of us feels that our drawing has something off about it, and we get the other's opinion, and usually one of us is able to find out what's off about it.
Cool. And for me, I definitely do like 1/50th of the drawing that Emma does. But when I do draw, I kind of do something similar. I find a drawing that really inspires me, and I either try to recreate the style or I completely copy it. At first, that felt like cheating to me, but then my artist friend Annalie said that that's actually how everybody starts. They start off just copying things that they really like, and then through that they learn about how to create those things and also what they like and what they don't like, and their own style kind of emerges from it. So that made me feel better. So it sounds like you do something similar.
Yeah. Eventually, you're able to just have a picture in your mind of what you want to draw, and you are able to draw it. But that takes a lot of practice. It's hard to get what's in your mind onto the paper.
Remember that quote by Ira Glass?
No.
About, maybe I'll read that. So Ira Glass has this. Actually, if you look up Ira Glass on creativity, it's been turned into a video, so you can hear someone say it. But he has this great quote about what Emma was just saying. Nobody tells this to people who are all beginners. I wish someone told me. All of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste. But there is this gap. For the first couple years, you make stuff. It's not just not that good. It's trying to be good. It has potential, but it's not. But your taste, the thing that got you into the game, is still killer. And your taste is why your work disappoints you. A lot of people never get past this phase. They quit because they don't like what they were creating. Most people I know who do interesting creative work went through years of this. We know our work doesn't have this special thing that we want it to have. We all go through this. And if you are just starting out or you are still in this phase, you gotta know it's normal. And the most important thing you can do is do a lot of work. Put yourself on a deadline so that every week you will finish one story. It is only by going through a volume of work that you will close that gap. And your work will be as good as your ambitions. You will be as good as your ambitions. And I took longer to figure out how to do this than anyone I've ever met. It's going to take a while. It's normal to take a while. You've just got to fight your way through. So I guess our advice is just make stuff and make a lot of it. One book for me, I don't think you've used this at all, have you?
No.
But a lot of my friends recommended this book to me, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. So there's an actual book and then there's a workbook. This is the workbook, and it talks a lot about sort of letting go of your inner critic. I can't see if and just drawing, and that our left brain gets in the way of doing what the right brain needs to do. So I've done a few things in this book, but not much. But the little that I have done has been really helpful. So this is a great book to check out for sure. I'm not sure about any. Do you know of any like blog posts or website or anything that have helped you?
Well, honestly, I have this thing where I'm sort of I just do it myself. Like, I look up some videos. I can't think of any right now. But I sort of just like get information from like the artists I follow on Instagram, like, and I ask them how they did this and what art supplies they use.
Are they pretty good about answering you?
Yeah, like it's a little awkward because sometimes you feel like, oh, this is probably really annoying to them. But yeah, they're usually really good about it.
Cool. Yeah, I've found that there's a few artists on Instagram that I follow that I really love their style and aspire to maybe draw like them one day. And I can share a couple of Emma's faves and a couple of my faves in the show notes. But I have asked a couple of them some questions too, and I remember one of them said, you know, I have these same insecurities you're talking about, Shannon, because I'm not actually a trained artist. And I was floored to hear that because I thought she must have done years of art school, or, but she hadn't. She was completely self-taught. So in one way, that was amazing to hear because she said, you can do what I do someday. You just have to draw a lot, and I think it's that way about anything if you want to do, which is really cool. It means that, you know, most things are available to any of us who are willing to spend the time to do it. And Em and I were talking the other day about how I was sewing, and she said, do you ever feel like guilty about sewing that you're not knitting? And I was like, oh yes, when I'm sewing I want to be knitting, and when I'm knitting I want to be drawing, and when I'm drawing I want to be reading. So there's just so many things that I'm interested in, and I know that I'm always gonna kind of be mediocre at all of them because I don't spend a lot of time on just one thing. But I'm kind of okay with that because it's not like I'm ever gonna be a professional knitter or a professional artist, or it's just stuff I'm dabbling in.
Yeah.
But I think if you want to be professional someday, you probably have to really put that time in.
Yeah, like I want to be an animator. So when I'm drawing, I feel guilty that I'm not animating, and then but I also feel guilty that I'm not reading, and then when I finally like put everything down and read, I just, why am I not drawing? I should be drawing. This is what I should be doing.
You're also 13 and you don't need to be a professional at anything yet. You can just do it all because you love it.
I want to though, but yes.
Yes, but you can take that pressure off yourself to get in professional mode because you'll get there.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for asking the question, Aoife. Thanks for joining me, Emma.
Welcome.
That just leaves us with announcements and reminders. I have 2 announcements this week. The first one is I announced last week, so it's just a reminder that Worldwide Knit in Public Day in Vancouver is happening on June 18th down at Canada Place in front of the Olympic Torch from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and there will be prizes and fun knitting happenings. So please come and join us. I will be there. I will be knitting my little heart out, and I would love to meet you if you come. So the next announcement I have is about something that my friend Sara from the Knitting Type podcast cooked up. Her and I were talking about bag making, and she was talking about how she has been making a bunch of bags. I showed some of her bags on last week's podcast, but she was feeling not very brave about them. Like, should I be selling these? What should I be doing with these? And so she had this great idea of doing a bag swap. And so she thought that it could be for anyone. If you've been making bags forever, if you're brand new to making bags, anyone can sign up. So the idea is to encourage people who have been, maybe wanting to make a project bag or who can't afford to buy a project bag. So maybe you're going to make one of your own, and then we're going to swap bags. So you sign up in either her group or my group, and then indicate if you're willing to ship internationally. Sign up by May 31st. We'll assign swap partners on June 5th, And then everyone has to have their package sent out by June 25th. And we will leave it up to swap partners to decide if there's other things you want to include in the swap so that they're even. So if you just want to send bag, make sure you communicate that to your swap partner. If you want to exchange minis, then talk to each other about that once you're paired up. If you want tea, just make sure that, no one's sending like a big, huge parcel and someone else is just getting a bag. And then if you are an experienced sewist and you have been making bags forever, and you want to sign up, just make sure you are willing to receive a bag from someone who isn't experienced, and that something like that is going to disappoint you, because the chances are there's a chance that you will get paired up with someone who is not as experienced. So if that's going to disappoint you, maybe this isn't the swap for you. But if you're totally fine with that and open to helping someone else learn and get excited about sewing, then definitely join us. Sara and I are going to be swap partners, and she is terrified of making drawstring bags, and I'm terrified of sewing a zipper for the first time. So I'm going to sew her a zippered bag, and she's going to sew me a drawstring bag, and we're going to face that fear. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited to pair you guys up, and it's a chance to meet new knitters, learn a new skill, get a new bag. So if you want to keep one of your bags, then maybe make two. One that you'll keep for yourself and one you'll send to your swap partner. So I hope you'll join us for that. So I will open up a thread in the soxcetera Ravelry group right away, and you can sign up if you're interested in doing a bag swap. So fun! So don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and hit the like button down below if you enjoyed yourself today. Don't forget to go on Etsy and favorite the soxcetera Etsy shop if that's your jam. Join the Ravelry group where lots of fun things and conversations are happening. It's been so fun watching you guys exchange thoughts and ideas and helping each other out and getting to know each other and having insider jokes. The group is almost at 600 or just over 600 now, so it's way more than I ever thought it would grow to be, so it's really fun and cool. Don't forget to join the Blanket Blitz Cal. Tag your posts on Instagram or share your progress on Ravelry. If you are a maker and you would like to donate to the soxcetera podcast for present or future Cals, and that would bring you joy, then please be in touch with me, because it would also bring me joy. I love sharing the things you make with all of you. Don't forget to follow me on Periscope. I'm at Shannon Fisher, and turn on your notifications. I love meeting you guys on Periscope. It's fun. It's a little nerve-wracking, but it's fun. And that's our show for this week, you guys. Just a short one. Thanks so much for joining me. It's been a good week. So I will see you next week. Big love and squishy hugs!
Okay, you are not a bear, because if you are,